Neurosurgeon Eben Alexander told the terrible truth about life after death. In his career, he often heard from patients that after cardiac arrest, they found themselves in amazingly beautiful places and met deceased relatives. As a neurosurgeon, he always believed that these stories were related to brain disorders. Everything changed when he himself was in a coma for a week due to a serious illness. During those 7 days, his brain was completely shut down. Eben Alexander compares this to a TV. If you disconnect it from the network, the screen goes out. But despite this, he continued to see the world. The world I came to was so real that earthly life now seems less significant to me. Nevertheless, I began to appreciate my earthly life even more, understanding its true meaning, he says. Being in this other world, the neurosurgeon made an important discovery about the work of the brain and realized that our consciousness does not cease to exist. The death of the physical body does not mean the death of consciousness. About 10 years ago, Eben Alexander had an unusual experience. When he was in a coma, his consciousness was in deep darkness. This darkness was not like the usual earthly one. The neurosurgeon compared it to dirt through which he could see. Recalling his journey, Alexander described this place as the world as the worm sees it. In this thick darkness, he couldn't remember who he was. At first, he felt like a part of this unpleasant matter, but over time his feeling changed. Eben Alexander realized that he was not a part of this transparent mud, but simply was in it. He suggested that there must be a way out of this state. When he thought about how to get out of here, faint rays of light appeared in front of him, descending through the hole. Realizing this, Alexander began to rise rapidly. Flying through the hole, he found himself in a new world. All he needed to do was just think. Once in another world, he had the feeling that he was born for the first time and that he had not had any births before. This is how he describes his first feelings. Eben Alexander soared above the mysterious world, observing dense vegetation resembling terrestrial forests. Although it was not our planet, he felt that these places were familiar to him. He compared this feeling to returning to the place where he spent his early childhood. Such places can be forgotten in adulthood, but when you visit them again, you realize that they have always been in your memory, and this brings joy. During his journey, Eben Alexander flew over forests, fields, and reservoirs, noticing people in simple but beautiful clothes that were in harmony with the vegetation and colors of this world. Being here, he didn't hear the words. Knowledge was transmitted telepathically. He was informed that he was loved and protected and that there was nothing to be afraid of. He also realized that his stay in this world would be short-lived. Soon, Eben Alexander was back in the familiar darkness. In this state, fragments of memories of earthly life began to return to him, which he had not remembered all this time. He remembered that he had a family, but could not remember the names of his wife and children. He thought again about the hole through which the light came, but it turned out to be closed. When he opened his eyes in the hospital room, earthly life seemed insignificant to him at first. But that feeling quickly disappeared. The experience helped him understand that life on Earth has an important meaning, recalls Eben Alexander. One of the key discoveries was understanding the role of the brain. The neurosurgeon claims that what really happens is in the soul, not in the brain. During our life on Earth, this knowledge is not available, but it helps us at critical moments when important decisions need to be made. Eben Alexander believes that the human brain functions as a switch that in physical life takes our consciousness to a lower level suitable for life in the body. According to the neurosurgeon, the brain does not produce consciousness. His task is to block access to knowledge about other worlds. If we knew all the information in our soul, life on Earth would be more difficult. Why is Eben Alexander so confident in his conclusions? He not only received this knowledge in the other world, but also experienced it for himself. When he did not remember his earthly life, he discovered knowledge about the universe that cannot be understood with the help of the brain. Upon returning to physical life, the neurosurgeon realized that these higher knowledge had become inaccessible again. Only the feeling of their presence remained. Being in another world, Alexander understood why good and evil exist in our world. On Earth, we have free will, and we can choose. Choosing between good and evil, we we develop our spirituality. This, according to Alexander, is the meaning of life on earth, through love and compassion. He writes about this in his book, Evidence of Paradise. Write in the comments what you think of Eben Alexander's words and whether you believe in life after death. Dear friends, thank you for watching my video to the end. If you liked it, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Thank you, and have a nice day.